Wondery's new podcast, Dis and Tell, wades into the glorious mess of celebrity beef. Each episode explores a different iconic celebrity feud and asks, what does our obsession with these feuds say about us? Follow Dis and Tell wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
When there's so much that happens, watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the wonderful and hilarious Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
You're so coy today.
I know. I'm having that kind of a day.
Okay.
I'm having a Morgan and Kyle kind of a day.
Oh, yeah.
I hope no one thinks we're dating. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, indeed. We are talking Real Housewives of Beverly Hills today. Before we dive into that, in case you missed the big announcement, all the hubbub, tickets for the Golden Crappies, the 2024 Golden Crappies, went on sale yesterday, and they're selling like hotcakes. Please go to watchwhatcrappens.com and get yourself a ticket. It's February 17th at the Palace Theater in downtown Los Angeles. It's a night of 1,000 stars. We always have so much fun. It's when the whole Bravo community comes together. Content creators, Bravo celebrities, regular celebrities, just everyone. We all are there and we have so much fun. So please come and join us then. Watchwhatcrappens.com is where you get the tickets. It's going to be so much fun. I'm very, very excited. So go do that. Also, this is on Crappens On Demand. It's on Patreon, patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. You can watch us, not just listen. Support at the Crappens On Demand level, you can get the video. But by the way, at the basic level, the bonus episode level, speaking of the Crappies, this week we actually had a 2-part bonus episode, which we rarely ever do that. But it's a 2-part bonus episode because Ryan and I, speaking of the Crappies, we had to start figuring out the Crappies ballot. So it's us going through categories, moments of the year, trying to figure out what's worthy, what's not worthy. It was really fun for us. Hopefully it'll be fun for you guys too. So go check that out. 2 bonus episodes this week. So that's the big news.
Yeah, that was super fun. Okay, so here we are with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. How'd you feel, Ben? How'd you feel about it?
I don't know. It made me cry. I was actually surprised. I was like really crying by the end of it. I just was, I was sad. It made me, I don't know, like, made me think of the pain that a lot of the people that we were seeing on screen endured, and made me think of the pain that a lot of people who weren't on the screen have had to endure surrounding suicide, etc. It was really, I was very, very moved by it, which is surprising.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to talk about esophaguses. So, that was really great that you tried to talk about something that means something, but Well,
I'll tell you one thing that was not moving.
Sutton's
food
esophagus.
Down Sutton's throat. So, I still thought that I was actually mad. I was mad that a Kyle Richards helmed storyline was making me cry. But, I'm a softie, believe it or not. So there it is. What'd you think?
Well, that was a pretty big one. I mean, this is really sad. And I know it's a year of Kyle being an asshole, and more people come over to the Kyle as an asshole side as time goes on. But, still really sad. I mean, my God, it doesn't matter who somebody is. Stuff like that is super, super sad. So don't worry, we will not be making fun of that. I do have a couple of comments about it later, but it's not my fault. It's Kyle and Morgan's fault. But what are you going to do? So let's go. Let's start this episode. First of all, I was very confused because I don't know, it's Beverly Hills. It wasn't the most exciting episode, which I don't need every episode to be super exciting to be entertained. But some of the episodes, you're like, oh my God, let's play a game. They're talking about licking each other's toes. There are some scenes like that where any normal person starts scrolling on their phone. I mean, that's what phones are for. It's to get you out of the tedious bullshit you're putting in front of your eyes in the first place to go waste time with some other tedious bullshit. Okay, we all do it. But when it came back from commercial, I was like, weren't they in Ojai? Was this the lamest trip we've ever seen? I mean, I know it was just like a day trip, but Ojai is not really that close.
Well, remember, this was an Ojai trip to celebrate Annemarie's birthday. So, like all things pertaining to Annemarie this season, it was fleeting and not on screen for very long.
It was cut short, thankfully. Oh, God. So do you ever watch the after show things that they do where they interview each other?
Sometimes I do, but I did not watch anything involving this episode.
Well, this one, I don't really watch them, but I was watching a clip of one that was posted, I think, on Reddit. Thanks, Reddit. Love you. It was Kyle and Erica interviewing each other. And we were right. We got correct info at the beginning of the season from Old Queen in a Bar, who's one of our friends and sources. Just an old queen who sits at a bar in LA. And sometimes we will see him and get some information. And they told us that Kyle was faking this whole, which, by the way, I don't think that part is true necessarily, but that Kyle was making this whole Morgan thing a big storyline because she had caught Mauricio having an affair or something in Instagram DMs. It was like something like DM thing. And so that was kind of what we were going with at the beginning of the year, or at least I was, because I believe Old Queen in a Bar. Old Queen in a Bar has really failed us not very many times. Right. And that was kind of what we found out tonight. And Kyle was talking about it. She said that before the season, she had caught Mauricio, and she's pissed, and she's not taking it anymore. Not cheating, but on Instagram DMs and stuff. And then the other part of that was interesting was then it cut to Annemarie, who's being interviewed by nobody. She's just sitting there alone. Of course. And she's like, oh my God, like, you know, I mean, it's just like all these people like want fake things in their marriage. Like they don't want their husband to tell them the truth, but like I do. Like, hello, 8.5, okay? Like he calls me an 8.5. And my friends are like, why do you accept him just calling you like an 8.5 like that? And I'm like, you know what? I'd like prefer my husband to be honest with me. That's what it is. Like my husband is like completely honest. And she just keeps going alone in this big cavernous soundstage.
That is a good metaphor for Annemarie. I mean, it's just she's like one of the most puzzling housewives in terms of why she's even there. I shouldn't say why she's even there, but why she's a housewife, because she really is been on this season so briefly and really only seems to fixate on an esophagus. She's getting a little bit of the Psy edit, where Psy focused only on food and Annemarie is on esophagus. So she's literally the next evolution of Psy, because Psy is like, she's hungry, and now Annemarie is at the esophagus level of like the process of eating and digesting. So, yeah, that's gonna be. I don't think this is a great launch for Annemarie, but you know, maybe Bravo sees something that we don't. They literally probably see something that we don't, because we don't see Annemarie.
Kyle brought on somebody to be on her side no matter what, and it just doesn't work, you know? So, hey, bring on the other ones tonight, Kyle. So she also gets to bring Teddy tonight. I'm like, how many side dishes does one person get? I mean, Kyle is like me at a steakhouse, surrounded by side dishes, you know?
I mean, I'm going to give Annemarie credit for one thing. I do think that she's telegenic in that, like, when she's on screen, she's like, I feel like her energy is really good on camera. But, yeah.
Why do you have to say something nice? I mean, you don't have to. I know that's in your personality, but you don't have to.
You know what? But you know what, though? She's like you know what she is? She's like the duck sauce that comes with an egg roll. It's never quite enough. So it's like, this is good, but like, where is it? It's already gone. You know?
So you want more Annemarie is what you're saying? I think you just
that's right. Okay, I'll change that.
This. Yeah, let's drop it. Annemarie sex. Just leave it with me. I'll take care of it. I know you don't want to be too mean. You've got me.
No, I don't care about being mean to Annemarie. I'm just trying to.
They don't even say her name right. Her name is clearly Annemarie. It is Anne Marie, and they all call her Annemarie. So I mean, even the cast is like, who, what, why? But guys, tiny esophaguses at tiny Suttons. And so Kyle is at home getting ready for her day trip to Ojai. Like, I thought it would be fun to go to Ojai for the day because, like, Annemarie's birthday, because, like, every time Annemarie's been around, there has been absolute chaos with people just hounding me about possibly dating Morgan Wade. Let's cut to the clips of that. Kyle, we have no clips of that because nobody cares, Kyle. Okay.
And she's like, yeah, so I thought, like, why not take a nice day trip and get to know each other better and just enjoy a girl's day out without any arguing for once, maybe? Which this is Kyle's way of saying, I want to have a girl's trip where I can come for someone, and then afterwards I can say, oh my God, this is not the relaxing trip I wanted for Annemarie. But the joke's on Kyle because it actually winds up being a perfectly nice trip for Annemarie.
Yeah. So then Sutton and Garcelle are driving together, and Sutton's like, I don't ever want to do Taco Tuesday again. I just don't want to do that. She's like, I don't even want to do a taco, let alone on a Tuesday.
Tacos. It was so bad that the entire taco category has been eliminated for Garcelle. She's like, well, I haven't seen anybody since then. Oh, I did see Dorit last night, and we hashed it out. And by we hashing it out, I said about 3 things, and then Dorit made herself the victim. So, what's the reverse of Is that it?
So she's like, long story short, I'm moving past it. So then Sutton's like, well, my good friend, Amber Scott, we're going to be going to her family's house, and that has a wine lunch tasting. Wine tastings don't really work out on this show. I don't think we've ever had an exciting wine tasting. One of the worst ever was the one where they were actually in France when Lisa Rinna was trying to make Lisa Rinna Vanderpump Rosé happen after they got rid of Vanderpump, and then Lisa Rinna tried to ape her business, which didn't really work out. And that was one of the most boring trips I think we've ever seen. So congratulations, Ojai, you're right up there.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Wine tastings at Potomac, whole other story. So Garcelle is like... She's like, great. Well, so what's Kyle going to drink? She's not drinking. What you going to taste? And so goes, she is going to taste water, and it's delicious. Mm-hmm. So they...
Water Wednesdays. Mm-hmm.
It's a Water Thursday for me right now. I'm going to have some right now. Thank you for mentioning that, Sutton, because I'm going to open up this bottle right here. So they arrive, and they're all arriving at Kyle's house. So the dogs, of course, are like... it's like entering like a scene from City Slickers. Those dogs, it's like a cattle drive or something. All these dogs running all over the place. The cars are trying to pull up. The dogs are running around. So they come up and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys are Sutton. You guys are in pink and we're in beige." And Erica has COVID.
Yeah.
She's like, I tested 3 times yesterday. I just had a scratchy throat. I thought perhaps it was allergies. And then I said, still got it. Hey, my COVID test came back and it said, still got it, bitch.
So Annemarie's like, oh my God, it's like so sweet that they planned this trip for me. I mean, I think we're just going to like go and like have silly girl fun. But you know what? Like, I'm going to have a fun time. Even though Sutton is going to like pretend to like have like, she's going to pretend to need a booster seat for esophagus. But like, still, I'm going to have a good time. So.
Yeah, we're just going to see how the day goes. So they're in the car, and Sutton's like, "Hey everyone, I have major news announcements. Okay, let me clear my throat. It's gonna take a few beats longer because of my esophagus. Hold on. Ahem, ahem, ahem. Okay, so I went on a date, and it was with a man named Steve. And guess what? He's texting me, and guess what? He wants to do a second date. They're like, oh my God, Sutton, that's amazing.
And then we're going to get split into 2 groups because that's how we roll on Housewives. So some people go shopping and some people drink wine and tequila, I think. No, I think they all drink wine and tequila. I don't know. They go shopping in 2 groups. So Sutton, Crystal, and Dorit go into an olive oil store, which is interesting because that is the kind of the character that Dorit has studied for the Peter Pan panto. Just like, what you doing, Peter Pan? Come on, Popeye.
That's a crossover I would love. A Popeye Pan. That's great. So Dorit immediately, there's someone there who speaks Italian, so Dorit immediately goes over. She's like, oh, linguine, lasagna, affogato. Arrivederci, it's me, Mario.
Book the people, right? Don't they start the lemon rumor? The book the people. I designed it.
So they're just looking at her like this idiot. And Kyle and Garcelle and Annemarie go into a clothing store, and Kyle's buying like a lot of stuff, which then prompts Kyle to alert us, like, I don't even know how frequently I shop. Like, how often do I buy something? I mean, for sure, like every day. Like, I can definitely find something somewhere. I mean, there are big things. Sometimes there's little things. I mean, I can shop on my phone, like at home, in bed, online shopping, gas station, airports. Love it. Kyle, it's not significant that you have spend money every day. Most humans have to make a purchase every day. That is different. This is not a personality trait.
Welcome to like being alive. It's just like so crazy.
Some days?
Like, you know, when you go get gas, first you have to pay for the gas, and then you go inside, and there's like stuff you can buy inside, and sometimes I'll even get gum. I'm crazy.
Yeah, this was a real, to me, this was a real fail in the relatability. It's like she's trying so hard to be relatable about stuff that's like very basic, very basic. You know what? I buy so many things. Sometimes when I go into Starbucks, I actually buy a beverage because you can buy beverages there. Because I'm a crazy shopper. What can I say?
Someone sent me a screenshot, which I of course can't find, but it's Kyle doing an Amazon Live. She's like, my favorite things to cook with. I was like, wow, I hope she sells cooking utensils better than she's selling lesbianism. Because like, I don't think there have been any new converts. I just gotta say, this is, you know, gay people, I think a lot of gay men, there's like, wouldn't say a rivalry. Like, I think we certainly don't feel it, but there's like stereotypical things that people say. Like, gay guys never date because they're just always fucking and they're like out partying every night. And it's like really hard to get a gay guy tied down. But then lesbianism's called the U-Haul the first week, you know, because lesbians just want to settle down. They're boring. Kyle, you're not really distilling, you're not really changing any myths here. Okay, I think we need better PR for lesbians. That's what I'm going to advocate for the rest of the season. We need better advocates. Maybe
for humans, even, you know,
and people who like to shop in mini marts.
Actually, honestly, for hats.
See, if you want to open it up.
Lesbianism is not the issue here. Hats need a better ambassador than Kyle Richards.
Fake lesbianism is probably the issue because we don't even know if they're gay. That's the thing. Queer baiting needs better representation. Okay.
Yeah. So they get to the winery, and this guy Blaine, he's the sommelier. He's like, "Hey, so here you go. Like this first wine."
This guy's voice was really like this. He's like, "Hi, welcome. Hope you like rosé."
This is maybe why Ojai is not a wine capital. He's like, "Yeah, so this red wine, it's red and goes well with meat. So if you're having like pizza or like a burger, this is a good red wine for that."
So Kyle is like, I just really like to get away to Ojai or other places that aren't LA because I like LA, but you know, it's not really giving me everything that I need lately. And like, I'm kind of growing out of it. And once Portia is done with school, I'm going to choose someplace to live that I can hike and have dogs. It's going to be more conducive to what brings me happiness.
So Portia, just dog ear this moment, and feel free to bring it up in about 10 years to your therapist when you're wondering if you're starting to feel like your mom blames you for her unhappiness. You can just provide this as some evidence right here, because that's Kyle's basically like, yeah, once Portia finally moves on with her life, I can be happy. Also,
that's what people say when they're divorcing. You know, like once the kids are out of the house. So am I. I'm out of there. My big response to Kyle threatening to leave LA was, don't threaten me with a good time. Okay. Do you need a train ticket? I will literally buy you one. I'm on the Amtrak site. What can I get you? I'm a big spender. I love to shop. Do it every day.
Yeah.
What can I get you?
I do love Kyle continuing to just kind of trying to siphon off Morgan's persona. Like suddenly she likes being outdoors and rowing in canoes, and
she's like, listen, give me a harmonica and a stoop of a trailer to sit on and I'm happy. It's really all I need. You know what I really need? I need a yard that overlooks the Tennessee mountains while I play a washboard.
Shenandoah. You know what? All I need is I just need a porch, a starry sky, the Tennessee Valley below me, and Shenandoah playing on banjo. That's really all I've always wanted.
Actually, she's Appalachian. Sorry, I don't know where I got Tennessee from. Wait,
Tennessee is Appalachia.
That's
Appalachia,
right?
Appalachia.
It's like its own brand.
Yeah, Appalachia. Appalachia has its own. I mean, I think West Virginia is very Appalachia, but I think Tennessee counts too. I think it all goes.
Does
I mean,
it?
the Appalachian Trail goes all the way up to New Hampshire. How about that? How about that, everyone? You just learned something.
Well, I love a trail. Like literally, like all I even eat now is like trail mix. That's how serious I am about it.
Can I tell you something? I went to college in New Hampshire, and the reason why I know the Appalachian Trail goes through New Hampshire is because every now and then there would be these like Appalachian Trail hikers that would just sort of like walk through the college town because they were like on their trail going through. Whoo! If you want to know what a stinky person smells like, it's Appalachian Trail hikers. Let me tell you something. If you see someone hiking the Appalachian Trail, just stay back, everyone. Just give him a wide berth. That's what I got to say. This is your public service announcement. It's like, you know, when they say if you encounter a bear in the woods, you stay still, make yourself big, and you scream. If you see an Appalachian Trail hiker, running, actually, I think running is good. I think you just run the other way.
No, people are going to get
shelter.
the advice confused, and they're going to see Appalachian Trail hikers coming, and they're just going to start banging pots and pans together. And the poor hikers are going to be terrified. Stop mixing advice.
By the way, if I swear to God, if someone sends me an angry email about like, how dare you say that? Actually, like there's a lot of like ways that you can stay hygienic on the Appalachian Trail. Thank you in advance, but I've already smelled them. This is empirical evidence. I've done it. Okay, I've encountered Appalachian Trail people in New Hampshire. I don't want to smell them anymore.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
I always like to begin the year by clearing out my closet, but this year I'm also upgrading it with pieces that will last beyond the season from Quince.
Quince creates timeless essentials that never go out of style. You'll have them in your closet forever.
Quince has all the must-haves like 100% Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweaters from $59, 100% leather jackets, and fitted pants.
And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. I love that.
I got a beautiful wool jacket from there. I look so handsome. Like everywhere I go, people are like, oh my God, you're so hot. And I'm like, Quince. Thanks, Quince.
Yeah, I have a really cool overshirt, and I also got a really chic bracelet. And honestly, I felt very stylish, which is a rare thing for me.
Upgrade your closet with Quince. Go to quince.com/crappins for free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. That's QUINCE.com/crappins to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crappins.
Being an actual royal is never about finding your happy ending. But the worst part is, if they step out of line or fall in love with the wrong person,
it changes the course of history.
I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin.
We've been telling the stories of the rich and famous on the hit Wondery show Even the Rich, and talking about the latest celebrity news on Rich and Daily. We're going all over the world on our new show, Even the Royals.
We'll be diving headfirst into the lives of the world's kings, queens, and all the wannabes in their orbit throughout history. Think Succession meets The Crown meets real life.
We're going to pull back the gilded curtain and show how royal status might be bright and shiny, but it comes at the expense of, well, everything else. Like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head.
Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Even the Royals early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Oh my God. So now Kyle's like, you guys, you know what we should do? Play a game. Ask me about lesbianism. They're like, wait, what? She's like, okay, we'll wait till the olives are done. Okay, so let's just play like girly things. So the first thing is going to be like, lick somebody's toe. Oh my God. Okay, so Sutton, whose toe are you going to lick? You have to lick Gretzel's toe. It's going to be crazy. Like, oh, God.
So it's okay. We have to nominate Housewives table games for the crappies in some category that has the phrase "god awful" in it. Like this has to stop. They've got to go.
Housewives dinner games are the Appalachian Trail hikers of Housewives plots. Just let
There
it
we go.
go.
There we go. They come in, they're smelly and they're intrusive, and we'd like to see them on their way. Continue on your path.
We're done with them, okay? So Sutton licks a toe. I forget whose toe. I don't care. Dorit's.
It was
I don't care.
Dorit's.
And
No. She licks Dorit's mouth. No, she sucks Kyle's toe.
Oh, she licks it. She just gives it a little.
Licks. Sorry.
And then everyone's like, "Oh my god, licking toes." Dorit licks PK. So, and then Sutton, presumably. And then Sutton puts her tongue in Kyle's mouth, which is crazy. And then they have to make O-face, orgasm faces. And Dorit does one like she's got the vapors. And then, Crystal's
my favorite.
Grimaces. She's like, oh.
Crystal looked like she was on a bad roller coaster. She's like, ah! Like the look of terror. Like, what is happening when she is orgasming? Is Rob like lifting up a pillow like Simba? Like, why? Like, why is she so horrified?
I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't think that's like I don't think Rob's like someone you'd cast in a porn necessarily, you know. But I think sometimes it's okay to just avoid making O-face in front of your friends, especially if it's like, oh my god, turn out the lights, you know, or something like that. Like if that's what your face is saying, or like, oh my god, we used the salt instead of the sugar. You know, like don't make that face.
So now Sutton has a card that she has to read, and it's what's appropriate for husbands when communicating with other women on social media. And Kyle goes, murder.
Dun.
Yeah, this was, by the way, the one card in the game that was handwritten because it was clearly by the producers. Like everything is
and
like,
Kyle,
stick your
notice
finger
how
in
we're
someone's
hitting
nose.
every single plot point Kyle wants to in this game she just brought, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, well, you're not supposed to be communicating with other women on social media. And Kyle's like, well, I've had like fights with Mo over that. Like, I hate that stuff. Like, liking people's photos, following people, no. Which, by the way, if Kyle is, when she says this, if she's like triggered enough by Mauricio liking a photo, then all this business with Mauricio and his Dancing with the Stars partner holding hands in public, going out to dinner together, and it's just like, oh no, they're just friends. Because if Kyle doesn't like the heart, she's definitely not going to stand for a hand holding, and Mauricio knows that. So to that, I give a raised eyebrow.
Well, I give this a raised eyebrow as well because I saw an interview with Morgan a while ago, and they were asking how she met Kyle, or maybe it was on the show. I don't even know. But she's like,
Well, she followed me on Instagram, and then she started liking my posts and reaching out to me. And my friends saw, and they were like, wow, that person's famous.
so you were kind of doing that, Kyle, by the way. Dun, dun, hypocrite alert. So,
Very salt burn. It's very salt burn. It's like harmonica burn.
We've got too many salt burns already this week. We've got JT from Southern Charm. We've got Monica from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Kyle should just be like heartburn. I don't even think she could make people sit through an entire movie like that.
She is heartburn. Kyle is not saltburn. She's heartburn. Yeah, what happens when you punch down with saltburn? That's what Kyle's doing.
Yeah. So then, punching down.
Right? Saltburn, you're supposed to go
And
up.
at the end, she gets to live in a trailer on a mountain.
And she dances that awful song.
Okay, so they bring out a cake for Annemarie, and the cake just deflates, completely bored with its own life. And so everyone eats cake. And then Kyle just randomly goes, would you date women? It's like,
out of nowhere.
I'm sorry,
Whoa,
did we
Kyle.
not get to the card that you had stacked in the deck, Kyle? We got to the Mo card, but the cake was brought too soon. Come on, Kyle.
She had to have a bathroom emergency. I was like, I just got to get this out. Got to get this out before I go to the bathroom.
Guys, it's literally all Kyle wants to talk about, and nobody will ask her. So Dorit's like, where the hell did this one from? And so it's like, wow, that is a weird question to ask randomly. My cousin's a lesbian. What was that?
My best friend Jennifer was in a movie about lesbians. So everyone's like, what?
It doesn't even go anywhere. She's just like,
Yeah.
My cousin's a lesbian.
I've heard of such things. I've seen Ellen. So Sutton's like, no, I'm not interested. And Kyle's like, you've never dated a woman? And Garcelle's like, there are times I've thought about it, if you're going to be honest. And Crystal's like, well, would you? And Kyle's like, would I? Let me pretend to think. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would. Yeah.
And I really don't appreciate you guys asking about my marriage. Like, okay, Kyle. So Garcelle's like, wow, Kyle a few years ago was like shocked that we would have threesomes or talk about making out with women. And now look at her. And she's like, wow. Garcelle goes, wow. So now she's open to having a relationship with a woman? Well, I don't know, but I think there's a country song in that.
Garcelle's been giving some really shady interviews, and I really appreciate it. So, because I love the way she just gives she does that dry delivery and just looks at the camera. She barely even has to move to give her wink,
Yeah.
So, Kyle's like, oh my God. When I was in Cabo with friends, a question came up about scissoring. Oh my God. I just learned this thing about scissoring. Oh my God. Kyle is acting like you do when you come back from like sleepaway camp, and you're like, "Oh my God, I learned things." And she's
going
really
through
excited.
that moment that we all have seen people go through in college, where girls, and this is speaking as best friend to girls during college. I didn't go to college, but I went to their colleges, okay, because that was where the party was at, but. Where we all know that girl who's like, oh my God, like they want attention from the guys. So they're like, I'm going to make out with that girl. And they're like, oh my God, maybe I'm bi. And then they're all over it. And like, by the time they're 19 or 21, let's make it 21, but we all know that. We all know that trajectory. And I feel that's what Kyle's on right now. I think that she's on her midlife crisis, but her midlife crisis is probably something to do with living the youth that she was robbed of as a child from growing up in a traumatic household or whatever. And so now she's like 19 in some country Western bar, like thinking she's going to make herself cooler by possibly making out with a girl. Ooh, let's talk about scissoring. Oh my God. Someone stuck their tongue in my mouth. It's embarrassing, and it's not just embarrassing as a gay person who's like, could we stop using like homosexuality as your kind of like bait to be more interesting for about 5 minutes, but also just as a human being, like do something else. Like,
well, to me, it's just more like
reading.
The like being so like the wow factor, not the wow factor, but like the, oh my God, scissoring. Did you hear about scissoring? It reminds me of when I was a teenager and I got drunk for the first time. And then afterwards, I was telling my friends, I was like, oh my God, I got drunk. Guys, I love beer. Have you ever gotten beer? Oh my God, let's go like drink. You guys want to go drink this weekend? Because it was so fun getting drunk. You want to drink beer? You want to drink beer? I love beer. It was so fun. I really want to drink some more. That's literally how I acted. But I was also 17. And that's what Kyle is doing now. Like, I just heard of scissoring.
This cast is so. How protected is this cast that nobody has heard of scissoring before? I mean, come on.
How do you be on Bravo and not hear about scissoring? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. And why is it okay on some shows to just be like, oh my God, scissoring? And some shows it's like, that is so offensive. So anyway, Crystal knows what it is, right? So Garcelle's like, what is that, like 69? And so Kyle's like, Dorit, let's show him how to scissor. So they get on the ground and they do it. They they do it. And it's funny. And as much as I'm like, oh my God, Kyle's so stupid and this storyline's so dumb, I was cracking up during this part.
I don't know if I was cracking up. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't grossed out or anything. I was just like, these are adults who are like just learning about scissoring. It just feels strange.
I think it was funny. I think just because, when people are crying and I'll start like crying, or like when people throw up and you throw up, like in Stand By Me, like one person throws up pie and then the whole stadium throws up pie. That's how I am with laughing. I'm like, oh my God, this show's so good. I went from being like, fuck this show's having a terrible episode. And now I'm like, this show's literally hilarious. This is like the Everybody Loves Raymond of Housewives.
Now imagine Raymond's mom scissoring. R.I.P.
Guys, so we're only bringing up the oldest references today, by the way. Yeah. I'm like, Stand By Me straight into an Everybody Loves Raymond. There you go. You're all welcome.
Thank you. It's a good 1-2 punch. So they're scissoring, and then Kyle's like, wait, what? More cards. Oh, and then this is the part where it's like, stick your tongue in the person who left mouth. So Sutton has to stick her tongue in Dorit's mouth, which is...
I think it was Kyle's mouth, I think.
No, it was
I don't know.
Oh, No, it was Dorit's mouth.
I think it was Kyle's, because then Kyle's like, oh my God, she actually touched my mouth. I'm a lesbian now. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really
sure it's Dorit.
Who cares?
Whatever. It was someone into someone else's mouth. And Sutton's like, well, you know what the saying goes. You work hard and you play hard. Well, we fight hard and then we play hard. I'm like, well, you're fighting hard as you also working hard. Like, that's your job. So you are actually working hard. Just, well, we always somehow get to a point where we have so much fun that we remember how much we really like each other and how close we are. And this is what I love about the group. I'm like, true, but also Erica's not here. So you guys were able to have fun.
But we were also missing it. I was.
You know what? I was going to say that too.
And I've never said that. I was until this year. I've never said, wow, I really wish Erica was
No, I think this is Erica's best season.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's not having an ally and having to stand alone, I think, is really doing it for me. I think she's doing great.
I think because she's actually leaned into the villainy truly the way she always should have, and now it's really it's working. It's working for her.
Okay, so guess what, guys? If you were worried that nothing was going to happen in this episode, we have some exciting news for you. Garcelle gets to shoot a scene with her sons. It's everybody's favorite. Garcelle and her sons. So they talk about sex a little bit. And then because, one of them's dating. And so she's like, you better not be having sex yet. So they talk about that. And then do you have anything to say about that before I just skip it? Because I don't.
Just skip it. No. Okay. I have literally nothing to say about that. No.
Okay, so PK and Dorit have counseling for her PTSD. So the doorbell rings, and PK looks like he's going to go answer, but does a detour to go scarf some pizza down, which is so truthful. I mean, that is just like truth in television right there. Been there.
Yeah. I feel like that's how the producers get PK to show up to things. They just put down pizza pies, and he just follows the trail until suddenly he's at the party. So then Dorit walks by. Are you freaking kidding me, PK? I mean, you said that's her, and you stopped off to get a piece of pizza. Oh my God, PK, you are one of a kind. Just wanted you to. By the way, and she opens the door, and there's the therapist. She goes, just want to let you know that this man left you waiting at the door so we could have more pizza. He is claiming he has pizza TSD, and that is just not fair.
So she tells us that her biggest issue was that after the home invasion, she really needed PK around, and he was traveling all the time. He was not there for her. And she's saying, she wasn't herself, and then her husband is off in London, and she just was disconnected, and she's always taking care of PK, and now it's time for PK to show up for her. I'm like, he did show up for you. He just has crust on his mouth. And that's natural. But he's here. You know what I mean? Just maybe show up for you with also a paper towel in his hand is what I would suggest.
Yeah, it's not that he didn't want to show up for you. It's just that there was a good 2-for-1 deal at Little Caesars of London. So he just can't stay away. But
also what he's doing, he's been shooting a show. He sold a show in London that is or over there. Let me just say over there, because I don't know geographically if I'm correct. I'm assuming. But PK has a show over there that's like Maury's show here. It's like a it's called like buying. Let's see, PK's overseas show. PK's over.
I think it's called show. Would You Like a House, Governor?
It's called something like Buying London, Selling London on the London. Am I right, babe? We're selling London.
You know what? Actually, he and by the way, he actually also has a show in Germany. Did you know that?
What's that?
He has a show.
What's that one?
It's actually a travelogue show that takes. It's called Ladies and Gentlemen, Berlin.
All right, wait for it. I'll give you the theme song right now. Take my breath away. Poor Berlin did nothing to me.
I love Berlin. But
I do too. I just need less, I just need more of a constant tone and less of a tone that hurts my ears. Okay, so PK's home show.
But by the way, can I? Oh, sorry. Never mind.
No, you cannot. His show is called Selling Super Houses. All right, and that's what it is. Aspiring estate agents compete for the job of a lifetime, showcasing and selling super prime properties for Kimsley as an exclusive independent company. So they're both kind of doing the same thing. He's off doing real estate on television somewhere, and Mauricio is off doing real estate on television somewhere. And guess what comes with doing television somewhere? You've got a lot of young, very good-looking, TV-ready people ready to flirt with you to be on television. Okay, so it's rough.
Like the star of PK's show, Gemma Fish and Sticks. She's she's a top agent in England, but she's beautiful.
Shepherd's Pie is so good on that show. Doing an amazing job. Just gorgeous.
Fiona Yorkshire Puds. She can close a deal.
Oh my God, thank God it's hosted by Fish and Chips. Love her.
Philomena Mushy Peas.
Okay, what were you going to say before I wouldn't let you say it?
No, I jumped the gun because I didn't realize you were about to come back to that. But what I was going to say is actually my take on this situation is PK not being present is probably his own PTSD. Like I'm not saying it lets him off the hook, but he is probably in a state of avoidance. Like that whole thing, he probably feels so much guilt and he probably feels like so much fear around that all that he's actually probably trying to avoid being home on some level because then it's almost like he doesn't have to be faced with it. So like that was my first instinct when Dorit was saying this.
Well, while I would never try to steal your opinion from you and I totally respect you, I will not give PK that. No! I will not give it to you because PK was gone and this happened and then he's gone again. Like that's not, I mean, it might be true, but I will not allow it from PK, from imaginary.
Is this evidence?
If PK brought up that argument, I would say absolutely.
My evidence has been, are you saying my evidence has been thrown out of the court of PK? How dare you?
I'm saying your evidence is great. And it's in evidence. It is in evidence. It's been accepted into evidence.
Okay.
I'm just that jury member who's like never going to vote yes on it, and it's going to be a mistrial anyway. So like we can argue if we want to, but mistrial because I will never let PK off on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, mistrial. Okay,
Take
so
my breath up. Objection. Berlin, out. Get out.
You can take the metro. So then Dorit says the reason she wants to have a session is because she feels like PK doesn't understand the severity of her PTSD and especially the surprise part. She doesn't like surprises anymore. And she says, I've tried to tell you and you just have a reaction that was very defensive and then you keep turning and introducing random bands from the 80s in the corner of the room. Where did they even come from? How did they get into every single room we're in?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
But then we see Dorit is trying to mix in PTSD with just being an asshole. And this is where I think PK really does have a point. Because we see a flashback to him doing this big Pretty Woman night starring Berlin, not from Pretty Woman, and Dorit just being a complete fucking asshole about it and being like, what are we doing here? Why do I not have my makeup that I want? And PK, do you think this just happens? There's a lot of effort that goes in to dressing a certain way, PK, looking a certain way, PK. And he's like, to be honest with you, I think I'm just not going to bother with surprises anymore. PK, how many assistants do I have here? I need more. Do I have my scent? Do I have my makeup? I mean, she was just acting like an asshole. She didn't like his dress. She didn't like the surprise. She complained about not having the penthouse suite. And now she's saying she was acting that way because of PTSD. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right. And PK's like, what does PTSD require you to discuss it there and then? Is that PTSD? Just, wow, PK, that's a really shitty thing to say. It's like, no, I'm interested. I think that's what I'm asking. So the therapist is like, no, he's saying, hey, your timing was off. Like, maybe, like, can we table that? Like, do we have to? He's basically saying, do you have to call me out every single time in public? Can we talk about it later?
And he's like, there isn't a freaking husband in the world that would have taken kindly to what she said when she said it in front of Berlin. I mean, after what I just done, do you understand? Do you understand that? And the therapist is like, okay, well, let me try and explain this to you. This is super rough for me because you're both awful. And so me trying to have to pick a side between who's more awful is terrible. So I'm trying to explain to you how to both be better, even though I know that neither one of you is really going to get it. Does anybody understand how I feel about that?
Listen, PTSD is born in, it's born in anxiety, right? And it's nothing to do with good surprise, bad surprise, or that slice of pizza you're stuffing into your mouth. It's just something that catches you off guard, so your instinct is to walk around ready for something horrible to happen all the time. Does that feel like it makes sense? And Dorita's like, perfection, Sarah. It's like how I felt during our entire honeymoon. I thought something terrible was going to happen every single second, and I walk around the corner and go, oh my God, I've married that man. And it would come true.
So she's like, does it make sense to you, PK? He's like, listen, there are elements I understand. There are also elements that I don't consider are PTSD. Like, I just consider her being more obnoxious than PTSD'd. And then we go back to the pretty woman night. And she's like, the presidential suite, at least. Karina, do you have my Beverly Beach bronzer? Have you even paid for the Beverly Beach bronzer? I don't think that you've paid the person back that you took the money from to make the Beverly Beach bronzer in the first place, okay? Allegedly, according to the woman who chased you around a pool in a TikTok video when you guys were in Dubai.
Those were the days. So PK's like, the reality is, when does high maintenance blend with PTSD? And so she tells us, the first time that she, one of the things that she made her fall in love with PK was that he could let go of things really easily. And in the last few years, he's gotten a bit more harsh, just a little bit more harsh. Like, sometimes he just tends to go low, although a lot of times he goes low because I've dropped a Pringle on the floor, so he just gets right on down there. But you know what I'm saying? He goes low.
And she's like, look, he's saying, I married a bubbly, wonderful woman. Now look at her. She's no fun at all. And she's like, well, I'm different because I've been traumatized. And so I can't help that. So you need to support me. And he is saying, dealing with the pressures of having to travel all the time and keep Dorit happy is a balance, but she needs to try to keep him happy too. And, they're pretty good at talking it all out. And then he gives kind of a little monologue about, what is it? It's too long. I'm trying to read it, and I'm like, why did I write it?
I don't know why you think I wouldn't understand it. It's helpful to me, but of course I want to understand it, And he's basically like, I want to understand you. And then he starts to cry. And then that's really, I think, again, what Dorit wants. She's like,
yeah, that's the Baba Lee moment of therapy. Like, you've hit the Baba Lee moment of therapy. You can go now, therapist. You've done your work here. You got Dorit to squeal.
Yeah. Then she climbs into his chair with him. I'm like, there's not enough room for both of you. Go back to your chair.
So then, you're really on PK today. Okay? PK is suffering trauma too.
No, that was nothing to do with PK. That was Dorit. There was not enough. That was not a two-person chair.
I'm going to throw this over to Mrs. Fish and Chips. Take it away.
To Mrs. Gemma Fish and Chips. No, I didn't. I was like, you're sitting right next to PK. Why do you have to get out of your chair and get him squeeze onto the...
He needs to sit on his lap pin, okay? Because this is the man that I married.
So, now they're fine. So then everybody is getting ready to go to Kyle's event. It's a getting ready scene. And Kyle's talking about how nervous she is about her speech and stuff. And then we get the side dishes. We get Morgan, who I still kind of like. I mean, Morgan really hasn't done anything to me. No. And Teddy. Oh, my God. Just
good old Teddy. Teddy barely got
trying.
Yeah, luckily she doesn't really get to speak much on camera. So Yeah, people are showing up.
She tries, but they don't even show her face. And then Garcelle just ignores her.
So at this event, and so Morgan is gonna perform. So they're there, and the event planner is like, "Okay, Kyle, here is the rundown. There's gonna be past apps, okay? Past apps, receipts, proof, timeline, pigs in a blanket." So she's going through this list, and then but while she's doing that, Morgan's doing like a sound check, and so Morgan starts playing some music, and Kyle's like, "Hold on,
everybody! I have to go listen to her. She's like lighting a lighter and like putting it in the air, and just like
and she does her weird
and like moving back and forth. Like, oh my god!
And she does her weird. She like sort of plants herself in front of the stage, and she's sort of standing in that way, like she just got off a horse, and she's like, "Oh, the music, it touches my soul." I'm like, Kyle, you've heard her sing this probably 5 million times.
But that's the thing. She's fanning.
Let the woman finish.
She's like standing in front of her, like saying the words, like. It's so awkward. And, everybody has known the boyfriend or the girlfriend of the person in the band. And it's just so cringe to go anywhere with them where that band was playing. They're like, hold on a second, everybody. This is my favorite one.
And then
Candle in the wind. It's like, oh my God, we're at a piano bar. Just be quiet. You have to sit down.
Yeah. I'm like, the party planner had stuff to go over with you, man. You can't just abandon this lady to listen to Morgan sing, her song for the 15th time. Morgan up there be like, the flowers in the field.
Morgan's like,
There's so many kinds of shrimp. There's fried shrimp and grilled shrimp.
Also, did you listen to the lyrics of this song? What the fuck kind of party is this? This is so weird and insensitive. Okay, look. Here's what I'm going to say. This becomes a very sad scene. Here's my thing. I get that at every memorial service, we can't have Wind Beneath My Wings. I get it. Okay. I've personally sung it at about 4 funerals. So maybe it's just that I'm used to hearing that. But you're trying to push this storyline of possibly dating this country star. Nobody's cared enough to ask you about it. You're still trying to push it really hard. You had a scissoring scene earlier. You had like a I Sleep With Women. Now you're having her show up at a party to sing, and the lyrics for the song are like,
I know you think that I'm too old for you, but
I was like, why are you singing that? What is this song about at a fucking memorial service? And then we'll get to the next song she starts singing. But Kyle's like trying to mix too many things in here, and it's borderline offensive. Like, keep that storyline away from this storyline. This storyline's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, wasn't there a lyric, but maybe it's the next song that was something like, as I take off your clothes.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I have the lyrics for the one that she actually sang.
I don't have those lyrics.
Wow.
But I remember I was like, interesting choice for a memorial service. So Kyle's nervous about her speech and everything. And so people start showing up. We've got our usuals. We got Kim, we got Faye, we got Camille. The cast shows up. People are taking photos. And Garcelle arrives and sees Teddy. And Teddy immediately... Teddy is like, hi, it's me, Teddy. The Nat is back. Hi. Garcelle's like, wow.
Teddy starts cracking up. She's like, yeah, the Nat's here. Oh. Garcelle's like, wow. Not only is she referring to herself as a Nat, I mean... She's laughing. I rest my case, Your Honor. She's like doing this like there's a gnat in her face. Poor Teddy. So more arrivals. Kyle is talking about how her best friends are her daughters. And now that she needs them, it's time for them to be there for her. So then we see her hiling Lorene's mother. Did I say hiring? Why would I say that? Her hugging Lorene's mother, which is super sad because her daughter passed away, obviously. This is really, oh my God.
Lorene's mother, so that's where it started to be like, oh my God, this poor lady, she was just crying right off the bat. Like, it's just really, you just sort of like feel it. And Kyle tells us that Mauricio couldn't be there because he had to go out of town for business. She goes, had this been a few years ago, I would have really relied on him on a night like tonight. I think it's not a great sign that Mauricio is not there, personally. This is Kyle's best friend. This is a true best friend. This is from when they were 7. This is a big deal. I think Mauricio not showing up for it because he's got quote unquote business. It's not good. Mauricio he runs that company, and he's powerful enough that he can come up with his own schedule, and he can tell people, I can't come in that night because I have got something very important to do for my wife. The fact that he is away on business, I think, speaks volumes.
So Garcelle is sitting with Crystal and Annemarie, okay, and they're making small talk, and then Annemarie's like, guys, not to change the subject, but like, okay, you guys know Sutton best, right? So like, guys, with her small esophagus, I just can't, okay? Like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's like driving me bananas, guys. Small esophagus, seriously?
Garcelle and Crystal they both do like the Jim from The Office to the camera, like, what? And Garcelle's like, I have a question for you. Why do you care? And Annemarie goes, well, because I care because I'm in healthcare. It's like literally part of the word healthcare. And so Garcelle goes, I don't think it's very Beverly Hills to be talking about someone's esophagus. I mean, you can talk about their jewelry. You can talk about their bags. You can talk about how they resemble a small little insect that's not as cool as a fly. You know, you can even talk about their plastic surgery, but not their esophagus.
Well, okay, guys. Like, I was scouring all my medical books, and I went to work, and then I was asking the anesthesiologists, and I was asking ENTs, and they were like, you listen, like, you can't say that to someone in medicine because you look stupid. Like, the small esophagus, that's not even a reason. Like, did you have an eating disorder? Is that it? Because, like, a lot of acid reflux, like, a lot of... wait. Because Crystal's like, whoa. You know, really, lady, you're going to go to the woman whose storyline is literally about her eating disorder, and you're going to start throwing eating disorder accusations around. Like, fucking tacky. And you know what? Not liking you at first, I tried standing up for you, okay? A little tiny bit. A long time ago. I barely remember it, but I did. And no, you're shit. You're shit. Get out. They should just have like a gong where you can just be like, okay, she's crossed the line. That's it. Your audition is over, ma'am.
Just get the hook. Which goes,
Berlin,
she's like, do you have...
Take my brother
Ball. Saying, does she have an eating disorder? Because of the acid reflux, it can cause the scar tissue in your throat. So Crystal's like, you're implying that she has an eating disorder? And Annamarie goes, no, I'm not. For the record, those were her words, not mine. I never said that. And Crystal's like, you just said eating disorder. And Annemarie goes, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Didn't say it. Never said those words. No.
So, by the way, she scoured all of her medical books. She's been looking everywhere she can, and she can find no reference to a small esophagus. Guys, that's not even a thing. Okay, well, I Googled small esophagus. Cleveland Clinic, esophageal strictures, symptoms, and causes treatment. It's an abnormal tightening or narrowing of the esophagus. People who ask, what causes a small esophagus? What is the treatment for narrowing of the esophagus? Causes. This is, by the way, on the main page of healthline.com. And you don't even have to open the page. It's right there on the search results at the top. It says causes. What causes a small esophagus? So really, how much scouring did you do? Because all I did was Google, and I literally didn't even have to scroll to get anything I just said. You suck. Out.
Well, Annamarie is saying actually that's right. When you say what causes a small esophagus, that Annamarie is saying actually that. She's saying something causes it. You don't just have a small esophagus. Something caused it.
Narrowing
what caused
of the esophagus.
it? But I'm not defending her, but I'm just saying that, like, that's what she's saying. But, like, I don't know why she doesn't
says,
say...
I have a small esophagus, she didn't say, something's not causing it. She said, she said, my brother has it too, and he has to go get a balloon put down there, which widens it, which is how it happens, which medically, if you're hearing that is, which also I've read on the internet, that's a very common way to have, it doesn't work forever, it's temporary, but you get a balloon put down there, they open it, and then you have to go back every once in a while to get it done. So she's already explained this to her, and she has explained what you have to do to get it fixed, and she's still pretending like it's not a thing. That's nuts.
I just don't like, as Annamarie, as a part of the of someone who works in healthcare in the medical community, why her vibe is not like coming from more of a place of care. Like, why was it like, esophagus? Like, you don't just have esophagus. It's more like, why isn't it like, oh, is that part, is there a larger issue? Or have you looked into that? Because there may be a larger issue at play. It's sort of not even her position to say anything in the first place, but being that she's a housewife, I will give her the space to ask a nosy question. But, yeah, it's strange. I just feel like this is such a strange hill to die on, So she's pushing it, but
and
then
it's also, the eating disorder thing as a medical person. No, you don't just start throwing that around like it's a criticism of somebody, like it's like a diss. Like, oh man, what do you have? Eating disorder? Also, this whole thing started because of an eating disorder fight because they were accusing Sutton of not eating. And that was the thing, like, oh, you drink and we never see you eat. And she's like, well, it's because I have a small esophagus. That's where all of this started. And now that she's bringing it around to eating disorder and then denying that she said eating disorder. Wow.
Yeah, to me, that was actually the worst part. And also the funniest part, that she literally says, does she have an eating disorder? And Crystal goes, so you're implying she has an eating disorder? And she's like, I never said that. I never even said the words eating disorder. Where'd you even pull that out of? What? Huh? So
Crystal's she's telling us, Annemarie, you are the one who said it. You need to own up to it. And you're the biggest gaslighter. And I don't need to look it up in a medical encyclopedia what a gaslighter is. Okay. I was like, yes. Well, they're fine. Crystal's finally getting to do something. So that's good. I'm loving an activated Crystal.
I know, me too. And I'm really excited for next week when she really is going to get activated. So they showed that clip a million times on Bravo since this episode aired. I've seen it, like the promo for next week. All it is Crystal being, you're such a fucking bitch. So Annemarie she's like, all I said was that narrow esophagus is not a medical diagnosis, period. That's all I said. And so Garcelle's like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to go get something to drink. Anyone want anything? Crystal's like, bottle of tequila, please. Thank you, bye.
So then Sutton is talking about the theme of the night because it's a suicide, it's about suicide basically. And she's talking about how her father died of suicide. And Dorit's just like, ooh, terrible. Wow. Dorit does that thing where she just kind of squints and nods, which is good. Like she needs to learn to do that more. And she just kind of lets Sutton talk about it. And it's really sad because she's talking about how her father was 62 and she was supposed to be there at the time that he did it, but she was late. She's like, typical me, late all the time. And so she's held on to this guilt like she could have probably stopped had she been there.
It's really sad. Then meanwhile, Garcelle goes up to Sutton. Garcelle goes up to Sutton and it's like, girl. She's like, what happened? She goes, Annemarie is coming for you and your small esophagus. And she's like, not tonight. And then Dorit tells us, Garcelle loves to strike a match and throw it on the flames and then walk away. And that's exactly what she's doing with Sutton right now. You're best friends with Kyle Richards. So, please save some energy for your BFF because, yes, Garcelle does do that. It's also her job, and it's also what Kyle does. So if you're angry at Garcelle, be angry at Kyle too. And she didn't walk away.
Yeah, she did it right on camera, right? It's not like one of those things where she's trying to hide that. They told Annemarie she was wrong, and then she told Sutton what she said. There's nothing secretive about what she just did.
And also, by the way, Annemarie was coming for Sutton. And so, lighting a flame is almost like saying, someone says one small thing, and then someone goes and just tries to make it much bigger than it really is. It's like, no, she came for your esophagus and implied you had an eating disorder, so you should know.
She came for your esophagus. This show. Listen to the things that we end up saying just talking about this show.
I just said that in an earnest way. She came for her esophagus already.
Okay, so then Dorit says hi to Morgan because Morgan's like, hi, dude.
Ding, ding.
Do you come with your own backing track? I learned to do that in the man's. So Dorit's telling us,
I met Morgan about 2 years ago. It was before Carl and Morgan were really close. It was almost like bullying.
So she tells a story of how they were all in London and they had dinner for Mauricio's birthday and
Morgan stuck out like a sore thumb.
assuming one's thumb actually looks like a stick with a little bindle on the back, and maybe a sign that says, "Who wants to ride the trains with me?"
And a motorcycle jacket.
She went to the public water fountain and tried to catch fish out of it. It was so awkward. The royal guards at Buckingham had to kick her off the property.
Oh. So she's like, come to think of it,
that was the last time that Coyle and Maurizio had dinner as a couple with me and PK.
So she thinks I love when Dorit thinks she's starting to solve some kind of mystery when literally Kyle has made the entire episode about Scissoring and Morgan. Okay, so now Kyle and Morgan are standing right across the room like,
Oh, well, you all that fruit skewer. I love this. I wish this had a steak and a fish on it too, baby. You know, have you ever had a puppy on a skewer? It's not pretty, but listen, you got to do it when you got to do it. Am I right?
Hey, this skewer kind of reminds me about luggage. So I just need to tie a little bag around the end of it. She's like, "Oh yeah, Kyle, you don't really like that. You don't really like that cantaloupe on your skewer, Kyle." Kyle's like, "Ew, yeah, eat this. Can you eat this cantaloupe?" Which, by the way, why do you have cantaloupe? This is an evening event. Why do you have cantaloupe on your skewers right now?
I guess that's what you have to do in Housewives if you want people to actually eat. It's like, wow, here's some plain cut up fruit. Okay, here's some hard boiled eggs and some fruit, and go for it, guys.
I sure do like that cantaloupe. I'll have some of yours, Kyle.
Yeah, and Kyle says, I don't like cantaloupe. It's just,
yeah, you don't like cantaloupe. I'll have it.
So then she starts feeding her the cantaloupe with her stick. Like, oh, God, Kyle, you're trying too hard. Please stop.
And then Dorit is like watching from like behind a plant. She reminds me of the lady in the first season of Desperate Housewives, like the neighborhood gossip who's just staring behind always something, looking at something scandalous. And Dorit goes, "This is exactly how rumors start, especially because I'll probably start them. Did you see the way she ate her cantaloupe?"
So now Kyle gets up after this whole thing is so weird because she's like really trying to push this thing in front of the cameras and all of her friends, and then it's time to give her speech, you know. So she gives a speech. The speech is really touching. It's just talking about how she and Lorene knew each other since they were little kids and how close they were and how they grew as friends as adults and supported each other. And then this is intercut with Sutton talking about her father and his suicide, and it really is heartbreaking. And then Kyle's like, okay, and now we have a musical performance from my friend Morgan Wade. So then Morgan Wade, so everybody's talking about people that they lost, right? And they're intercutting it with this song by Morgan Wade. And it's a touching scene. So I'm not going to make fun of anything anybody was talking about during the scene because even I'm not that much of a fucker, you know? But these are the lyrics because it was going and I was like, what? What is she singing? Like directly after a eulogy. Like she literally stepped down from giving the eulogy and here is the song we sing. If I could go let down my hair,
would you take off the clothes you wear and hold me here tonight? If I can learn to trust someone, my heart is like a loaded gun.
Which also not great.
Tell me it'll be all right.
And then the next verse, where is it, Ronnie? Ronnie, God damn it. Hold on, I think it's further in here. Dun, dun. So then she says,
lay me down on the floor in the kitchen. Show my angry heart what I've been missing. Won't you rest my angry bones?
Are you really singing a song about fucking on the kitchen floor at a eulogy?
I know.
I can't. What is this song?
It's like literally going someplace and saying, tonight, let's celebrate the life of my dear friend, Renee Bertuzzi. All right. And now, to celebrate it, a song.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. What do we do?
I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. It's like, what?
I mean, look, I know it's completely tasteless to even bring anything that we would laugh at into this scene, but that is just egregious, okay? Like, what the hell? There's not one person in production or anywhere that was like,
Are there any songs about like butterflies or like stars or
just like plain love? You know
just
what I mean?
Like nature or human
nature.
It's like,
don't say
What about-
nature. Here they come. It's the Appalachian Trail hikers. All right.
oh no, they're coming.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, despite all that, I really was crying at the end. I was between Sutton's stories, Kyle's story, watching this lady's mother. I was actually pretty, I was sad. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Go get your tickets for the Golden Crappies at watchcrappens.com. We'll see you at the show. And guess what? We got more recaps coming up later this week. So subscribe on whatever platform you listen to. And we'll catch you in the next one, okay?
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
She's the wind beneath our Jennifer Wing.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She's quite the catch. It's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.